Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to episode 12 of Counterfeit Monkey. Welcome to the possibly one person who's joined or is about to join or is watching this because we got a really lovely write-up in Pixel Addict magazine. Hello. If you happen to have followed that and have joined us, then say hello in the chat. And or comment on the video afterwards and let us know what you think and maybe what you'd like us to play next, because it really feels like we're reaching the end game of Counterfeit Monkey finally, seeing as we're on 78 of 100 points. But yes, as always when we start, if those present can say hello so we can make sure your microphones work and everybody can see who's playing the game today.
Hello, it's Rosie here.
And Lee.
Hi, it's Mondays.
And hi, it's Woody.
And hi, Mike.
Okay, yes. There's been a change of venue for Lee. I'm not going to comment on whether this reflects on any of our relationships or not. Oh.
Hi.
Hey, Lucy.
Okay, say hi. Okay, she's gone. She's gone
off.
now.
She can't handle the puzzling. Yeah, so to recap, we are in the sensitive equipment testing room, underneath the Bureau of Orthography, which we managed to get into after much faff in the last episode. And we are in the testing room because it has the T insertion machine in it. And we have freed Brock from his rock. And he's insisting that we test the T inserter before we escape the Bureau. So we have 4 goals currently. The first is to test the T inserter on making creatures. The second is to test it on making abstracts. And the third is to test it on situations where it could build more than one thing. So presumably from a given word, it could insert a T in 2 different places to make 2 different words. We've been thinking about it for a week. I think we have 3 candidate words to try out, or routes to try out. I'm going to start with the least likely, I think, and then move towards the most likely.
Are we going to go straight into the third goal? We're not going to try the first 2 first?
Well, I think the first 2 are easy. I think we can, and I think actually we might go via the first 2 on our way to the third one.
Okay, because the one question that I've still got is that we don't actually know how the T inserter works.
True. Yes.
Because when you insert something, do you have to specify where you're inserting it? Or does it work out where you're inserting it?
Well, if it's anything like the Camembert debacle, probably no.
It wasn't a debacle. It was a stroke of genius. Come on. Okay.
It was a cheesy stroke of genius.
It was very cheesy. I kept wanting to give clues and say that I found a solution, but it's quite cheesy. And I was like, no, don't say anything. Don't say a word. Don't let them, don't ruin it for someone who's figuring it out as well. But anyway. So if we look at the machine, it says made of brushed steel. It resembles an industrial espresso machine with a space in which to insert items. A dozen small nozzles poke into this space, and the grate beneath is ready to drain off any superfluity of teeness. There is a tiny brass plate near the base of the machine, which you've looked at previously, and it says property of whatever that dental company was. Okay, so let's try. Let's start with our pill that we got from the spill. And go remove P from pill. Oh.
No, don't do that.
No?
remove the L's to make pie.
Oh,
Is this the one that you're saying is the least likely to work?
yes.
My idea. Cheers for that.
Is it? Oh yeah. Okay. I mean, okay, we'll find out. Just because it's additional, the two that are least likely are the ones that add T's, like add a T to make something, then add another T. Whereas there's one where you add a T, but if you do it a different way, you add a T in a different place, if that makes sense.
Mm.
So it just happened that yours is the first one in my list. It's not that yours is. There's two that are not as likely as the third one. Does that make it better? It doesn't.
Not really.
No. Okay. Anyway.
Get on with it.
All right. Right. Remove L from pill. Okay.
We're gonna lose our one additional viewer.
Bye. Nice to not have met you. Spread the word. We reset the device to L. There's a mad scientist cackle and the pill turns into pie. For something so simple, it is astonishingly beautiful. A perfect circle in translucent silver, absolute and unflawed. He watches us with a slightly disturbed intentness in his eyes. I've half a mind to explore a little while we're down here, just about unsupervised, Brock says reflectively. I glare at him. I know there's no time, he says. But there are supposed to be all sorts of things in the Bureau sub-basement that have never seen the light of day. DCL projects that went wrong, secret government experiments, possibly a buried command centre. Oh, what? We could ask what buried command centre, or then again, there's always finishing the job. I am going to ask about the command centre. Buried command centre, you ask? Isn't there a pretty unsecret command centre above ground? Sure, but you hear rumours that the instructions come up from the sub-basement. Their chief leader, maybe. He runs his fingers over the surface of the machine, checking for hotspots. Brock goes on about the importance of abstracts. You have a fleeting thought of how it started with Brock. I think we've already done this, haven't we? Brock was sprawled out on the cushions with his sunglasses on, pretending not to see you. You stood so that your shadow crossed his face and he had to look up. I've been a jerk and I'm sorry, you said. I'm not the man-whore of Babylon, he replied. I've had the odd fling, that's all. I know. I'm not James Bond here. You pulled your towel more tightly around you, I know. And you have lost the right ever to give me crap about women again, he said. Your teeth were starting to chatter. Yes. Okay, apology accepted. He lowered his sunglasses again. Then we're back in the present. That was something about them having a one-night stand and her kind of ditching him the next day, I think, or trying to leave with it before he woke up or something. I don't know. Anyway, we have pie. A perfect circle in translucent silver, absolute and unflawed. So now we remove the P from pie. Correct?
Why are we removing the P from pie? Can't we just add a T to make pit?
Well, you could, but then you can't add another T to make it another word. So you have to remove the P to make it I, and then you add a T to make it, and then you add another T to make it...
Breasticles.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a rosy solution. We reset the device to P. There's a flash of psychedelic colours and pi turns into an I. It's an abstract that looks like a bit of a mirror. When I look at it, I see Alex, my proper self, and not just restored to my usual body, but photo retouched to be that bit smarter and freer of skin blemishes, well dressed. It's like looking in the mirror at reality as it should be. You doubtless see yourself too, as you are, or perhaps as you want to be. He cocks his head to look at the eye. I have surprisingly good hair. I have surprisingly good hair for someone who's just been a rock. Objects in mirror may appear more attractive than they are, we remark. Okay. Now we put the eye in the machine. There are 2 small pops from the machine as it turns the eye into a tit, a small harmless-looking bird. Of course, there were other options there. The T inserter could have made 2 words, but it seems to be disambiguating to the tit. There's a T-shirt slogan.
Disambiguating.
Thank you. Disambiguating to the tit. The question now is whether it would do so consistently or whether its behaviour is undetermined. We don't have time for a really thorough trial set, but checking a couple more times may be indicative. No problem creating creatures, Brock says judiciously. He eyes the tit. Oh, for a homonym paddle. The tit clambers out of the T inserter machine. Your score has gone up by 1 point. It is now 79.
And I presume that's because we've made an animal.
But yes. But now we're going to remove the T from tit.
Yeah, and do the whole thing again and see whether it...
Put I in the machine. First taking the eye. There's a loud and satisfying pop from the machine as it turns the eye into an it. It's itself. It. The epitome of itness. Philosophers would pay millions. There now. The T inserter has constructed both tit and it. Not very stable, it seems. Slango will be interested to know that. Check, says Brock, and that's all we need here. Now, he hesitates. 1 person escaping is easier than 2, I suppose. You start to object, but I say, yes, you better return to petrified form. You know I'm right. It'll be easier to carry. A little grimly, he produces his own letter remover and repeats the B removal that made him in the first place. Once again, we're alone in a room with a rock. Your score has gone up by 3 points and is now 82.
So
Well done.
I think we've just done all 3 in one go.
Yes.
We have.
Yes. Your least likely, Rosie, was the ultimate solution.
Well done, Rosie.
Yeah.
If in doubt, turn it into a tit.
Oh,
That worked perfectly. Amazing. Should we look at the other 2 candidates, or I think I'll save it here. I mean, like we did with the synthesizer, we'll try these others just to see how inferior they are. Okay, solution 2. Look at the wrap. So this is the flatbread wrapped around rice, chickpeas, and sauce. Remove W from wrap to give rap. There's a mad scientist cackle, and the rap turns into a rap. A pulsating ball of angry air. It details the singer's dislike of gold diggers. Brock touches some gel to the rap in the spirit of keeping the peace. With an audible splort, the rap becomes a rap again with a W. Ah. Interesting. So, okay, every time it's a different singer's dislike, this one of suspicious bureau men who only give trouble to guys with accents. But Brock will not have it. So we can't use rap to turn it either into trap or wrapped, R-A-P-T.
It's too noisy.
Too noisy. So that was a terrible solution. It was mine.
Who thought of that?
It was me.
So you saved. Oh yeah, sorry. I can see the goals have gone back up, and you reloaded.
I did.
Before you did.
We are going back to the ultimate solution timeline.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Okay, so rap was a no-go. We do have ale from our apple, right? So let's just see what happens if we put the ale into the machine. There's a loud and satisfying pop from the machine as it turns the ale into a tale. It begins with once upon a time, and the letters scroll up delicately through the air when we start to read. It weaves a narrative as follows. Once upon a time, a banker's son was in the middle of counting a short stack of silver. In the midst of counting a short stack of silver, the banker's son met a genie. The genie said, I have great need of a pair of Britishizing goggles, and will give you whatever you wish in exchange. The banker's son thought long and hard, then said, "Give me your bottled wind." Then the banker's son met with a sailor. The banker's son was overwhelmed with terror until he found the bottled wind again amongst his possessions. Using the bottled wind, he was able to distract the sailor, so the banker's son was successful. I think it just made that story up from stuff. Of course, there were other options there. The T-inserter could have made 2 words, but it seemed to be disambiguating to the tail. The question now is whether it would do so consistently or whether its behaviour is underdetermined. We don't have time for a really thorough trial set, but checking a couple more times may be indicative. Right, it's good on abstract then, Brock says, contemplating the tail. He watches us with a slightly disturbing intentness in his eyes. I've half a mind to explore just a little while we're down here, unsupervised, blah, 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 blah. Command center. Okay. Okay, we just looked at the tail and it gives us a different story. I'm going to put the tail in the machine again. We momentarily lift the tail out of the T-inserter machine, then drop it back in. There are 2 small pops from the machine as it turns the tail into a tattle. It's non-physical, but it sounds like a waspish playground voice recounting the sins of another child. "Mummy, David put restoration gel on Grandma, but it didn't work," tattles a childish voice. Brock touches some gel on the tattle in the spirit of keeping the peace. With an audible splort, the tattle becomes an apple. Huh. I don't understand. It could build more than one thing.
But that's not what you tried.
I think maybe you could do this in your own time, Chris.
Yeah, okay.
Big adventure.
Okay, so now it's done it.
Yeah.
Constructed both tattle and tail. Okay, and that's down to 2 goals. Okay. So it does work.
But it doesn't create an animal.
But it doesn't create an animal. So we have to do that another way. Anyway, we don't need to. We're on 82 now. And have a pick up the rock. Quite important. Presumably, we still need to use this machine to make something that we need. So far, we've only used it to do these tests. Okay, let's go east. Bureau basement secret section. Heightened security on this side of the door is obvious everywhere we look. Floor is tiled in paisley tiles. Light fixtures give off pale pink light. The walls are covered in frog leather. The doors are locked with padlocks the size of handbags. Locks decorated a la Louis XV. Combination locks made of solid gold. There is not a bare noun in sight. So everything is tightly tied to its modifier. The cute security door at the south end is solidly shut. The hallway runs from south comparatively normal to north deeply frightening. Just west is the equipment testing room. Alex, I can't help it. I stop and turn. It's too ingrained in me, and it's my father's voice. He's wearing his ordinary work clothes, but he looks strained to the point of fracture. And someone could come out of any of these doors at any moment. Your mother told me about meeting your supposed girlfriend at your apartment. She was puzzled by that, but I knew what must have happened, my father says, in a very low voice. I deleted the record of your unauthorized synthesizer draining the power grid, which, by the way, could get me dismissed. We could deny everything. What should we do, gang?
What would happen if we just told him the truth? He seems to be on our side.
He does. I'm just
going to no point in denying it. He knows the truth.
Yeah. I'm just going to press return. Or wait. Time passes. I didn't tell your mother what I suspected, but when it comes out you've defected, I won't be able to keep this from her. And you're giving up your career, mine too, possibly. We'll all be under suspicion, I suppose. It's pointless. You could have done a great deal for the Bureau from within. I was trying to help you see that. I'm inclined to lay out our reasons or be comforting.
Reasons.
I would vote for reasons.
I want to do something that matters, I say. I don't see my work making a speck of difference here. You mean you don't see my work as important, he says. Got that from your mother, I imagine. We stare at each other, breathing hard. So your partners in crime are what? Smugglers? Industrial saboteurs? That's wonderful. Finally, some role models. We want to quibble or deny being a spy. I do nothing.
Nothing would be my vote.
Yeah.
Are we a spy though? I mean,
Half of us is. You've left enough traces that people will know someone came in here today. Here's what we're going to do, Alex. You're going in there, he points at a door to the southwest, and I'm going to call for backup to arrest the first person that comes out. That could be Alex. It could be whoever else you are. It could be both of you in the same body. If it's Alex who comes back out, I can't possibly save your university career, but we might be able to make a case for clemency. What he means by that, oh, yes, I understand now. He gives us a hard shove. We're half inside the room when we hear his last remark. Alex, don't try to escape back through the rotunda. If you really can't come home, then head north. I've never seen it, but supposedly there's an emergency exit up there. Then he's gone. Cold storage. Shelves on both sides of the room are full of objects on stands. Objects that used to be men and women, and in a few cases even children. The stand labels preserve their original names. The duty roster is posted prominently. If this goes wrong, we could wind up living in here permanently, so we'd better figure out whom to send out and do it fast. Jings.
Yeah, okay. It's all got a bit serious, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Did we ever try to pick up the machine, by the way?
No. Do you want me to go restore and just see if we can, and whether we made a mistake by not doing so?
surely it wouldn't have let us out of the room if
I would have thought so.
If it was essential. I don't know, it always just felt like it was too big to carry. So, but I just realised that
It did. It occurred to me. Actually, it occurred to me when I was talking to Lee earlier. Presumably that our plan is to escape the island and then separate again, right? But of course, I just always assumed that was some other process that we don't know anything about. But it could just be rubbing restoration gel on ourselves. We probably have the capability of separating ourselves. We've just never tried it. We've never bothered trying to rub restoration gel on ourselves.
isn't that literally what we might have to do now?
Yes, and now it's become, clear that we have the capability of separating. I guess we have to look at the roster. The roster records duty shifts once every 2 weeks assigned to various people in the department, all of them very high ranking. Be conscientious, admonishes the roster. Read each name clearly while looking at the item through a monocle. If you suspect an object of losing its original identity, contact the curator. We have disposed of 17 objects this year. Oh. I'm wearing the monocle.
Would it be possible to get a list of those objects if they have?
Yeah. Just full of object on stands. If I examine objects. The stand labels preserve their names and a few details such as birth date and date of inanimation. The nearest of the objects resolves awkwardly into the face of a woman. It's hard to tell much about her, her age, or her dress from the faded image the monocle creates. That's all. We can't examine children. It's just objects. We can try stands. No, every time we do this, it just says the nearest of the objects resolves awkwardly into the face of a woman. Hard to tell much about her age or her dress. I'm going to rub gel on ourselves. If you have some idea of gelling me and sending me out there while you escape with Brock, let me tell you, I know enough to ruin you. I know Lena, I know Slango, I know who you talked to at the Counterfeit Monkey, I know half a dozen other exploits you pulled before, and I would tell them because that's the only way I'd get to avoid a full trial for treason. I like you, honestly, but if it's you or me, I'm still picking me, unless you're volunteering to go yourself. Please answer yes or no. So this is how we do it. This is how we separate.
Well, our dad has just said that if we come out, he could get us off somehow. Didn't he?
He's going to do us in, isn't he? He's just going to...
Bit of a moral dilemma, isn't it?
Yeah, but what happens to Andra, right? Like, whose side are we on? Alex's or Andra's? Are we trying to save Alex's skin, or?
I mean, I know that our dad said that we had a choice of 2 people to send through.
No, he said 3. There was 3 options. He said we could come out as we are now.
Oh, sorry. Yes, we could come out combined.
Yeah.
Or we could come out as ourselves, or we could come out as the other person.
Yeah, who he doesn't know.
But actually, aren't there 2 other options that we can also consider? Because our dad wasn't aware that we've got Brock with us.
That's true. We could send Brock out.
Or we could reanimate the woman, the object, the woman, and send them out.
True.
None of this helps us come to a decision. I'm just making the problem more complicated.
Yeah, you're right. No, that's very true.
But he also told us where to go to escape.
He did, didn't he? Almost like he was giving us a hint of what to do. What did he say, actually? We can look back in the tiny writing of the rollback.
Something about an emergency exit in the north.
I'm going to call for backup to arrest the first person that comes out. It could be Alex, it could be whoever else you are, it could be both of you in the same body. Also, don't try to escape back through the rotunda. If you really can't come home, then head north. I've never seen it, but supposedly there's an emergency exit up there. Okay. Yeah, so don't try to escape back the way we came, obviously, but go north. So we could find someone else to send out. So maybe the most sensible thing is to try and reanimate the woman and send her out, or Brock.
Where is the rotunda? Sorry,
The rotunda is the entrance to the bureau. So, actually, I've got the map here. So we are here in this room.
Okay.
This room. The rotunda is up here. So it's where we came in from Tall Street, where you can go to the Ootles and Techniques exhibit. We went through the antechamber into the hallway and then down to the basement and north.
So is that the super locked door. Is that where we think that's the secret exit going north?
North here.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm up for let's try to have all of us and our mates escape. Let's throw the woman to the wolves and see what happens. Well, that's just my vote.
Yeah.
Yeah. Save it and rub gel on the woman.
Yeah, good advice in all situations. Okay, so I said no, I don't think so. And then Alex presumably says, I vote we gel Brock and send him out to my father. Though hear me out, Brock's cover is probably not in great shape anyway. You might be able to rescue him later, and it would be a coup for my father to have a real big arrest to put on the record. Then we need to break him out of jail. Well, let's try rubbing gel on the woman, shall we?
I mean, Brock would definitely be my second choice, so let's...
Yeah. So rub gel on object. Hang on, are you sure you want to send one of these poor bastards out there? It would be cruel to get their hopes up just to have them rearrested. Not to mention that it would make my father look like a fool if he arrested a dissident who turned out to have been in storage all along. But that's exactly the kind of thing that we would do, that Andrew would do. I'm going to say yes. We gel the nearest of the objects and it comes to life. A woman in her 30s or 40s, at first so motionless that she looks like a statue until she remembers she can move. Thank goodness, says the woman. I felt like I was going to lose myself if I had to spend another minute in there. I don't know who you are, but thank you, thank you. Is there a bureau reprieve? Please tell me they've decided to let us all out. No general reprieve, you say? Just you. This isn't what I want. It's not just unfair, it's actually monstrous. What were you put in for, I ask. Italian, she whispers. What? I was learning Italian, she says. I wanted to read Manzoni. There was no sympathy from the officers. They thought it was an inexplicable desire. Is it daylight or nighttime out there? Not that it matters. I haven't seen either in so long. You gesture at the door. She looks at us once more doubtfully and goes. From the corridor comes the sound of a shot being fired from a restoration gel rifle. The woman exclaiming in pain. Officers gathering around her for the arrest. And she'll be back here, I suppose, before the night's out. I suppose that allows you to tell yourself that it wasn't a bad thing what we just did. A faint spell comes over you. And you feel dizzy. Okay.
That was so mean.
And then we thought this isn't a comedy. It clearly is a comedy.
The actual game has lost respect in us.
It has. It has. It's actually punishing us by giving us turns.
Yeah.
Do we take it back and send Brock out, or do we just stick to this?
Just run with it.
Live with our decisions. What's our goal, by the way?
Escape, I think.
To get out.
Escape the bureau.
Gain some empathy. Become human.
Yes.
Look at it's called cute.
Maybe we should have sent out the troll after all.
Like that troll.
You never tried the troll. Going south through the security. So we were just back out in the basement secret section. Our only way out is north, just west is the equipment room. Let's just go into the equipment room and get the machine. It's fixed in place. So there we go. If we go north, it says Wonderland. The ridiculous decor continues, now so extreme that I cannot even put a name to the things around us. They might as well be extrusions from a nightmare by Dali or Dr. Seuss. Offices are accessed by hatchways that seem to have come from submarines or through passages resembling the sphincter of a great whale, or up ladders decorated with human teeth. An open archway leads to storage space east of here. Hanging in the air to the north end of the hallway is an odour. Ooh.
We haven't got an anagram machine, have we? We need to make it into a door.
That's exactly what I was thinking, yeah.
Let's look at it through the Britishizing goggles. Yeah, hanging in the air to the north end of the hallway is an odour with a U. It's just the first thing we've encountered that has a British U in it. That's all.
It didn't ping or anything, did it, though?
We weren't wearing the monocle. Okay, if I look at the odour, it says, I can't quite place it. There's definitely a smell, but what's it like? Strawberries, burning rubber, freshly chopped chives. Every time I think I've pinned it, it goes again, sliding sideways to smell like something else.
Oh, hang on a second. So maybe we don't need to turn it into a door. If we can get the gel on it, maybe it will turn back into a door.
Yeah, that's what we were just saying. Can you rub gel on a smell?
On a smell. You can't actually touch the odour, seeing it as it is, in fact, just a vapour in the air, a dispersion of molecules dispersed through the rest of the local atmosphere. There's also east to a storage room, so it may be that there's an anagram machine in there. Let's just have another look. Okay, ridiculous decor. Open archway leads to storage space. That is literally it. Okay. Equipment archive. The ceiling is mirrored, perhaps to make it harder for anyone to sneak around without being noticed among the shelves. The equipment shelves here display an assortment of obsolete, broken, foreign, or otherwise unusual letter tools. On the equipment shelves are an accent flipper, an umlaut punch, a Catalan punt volat needle, some broken components, and some lamb granulates. The functional area continues to the south, and the hallway is to the east. Functional area continues south. I have no idea what a lamb granulate is. Display reloading room to the south. This area is more or less empty. Hazard tape marks off an area to the floor to indicate that you shouldn't stand there. A black and white TV monitor is embedded in the wall. There is a small black push button on the wall.
I mean, one.
Push the button.
Got to push the button.
Okay.
Always push the button.
You might
Of
want to
course.
save it first.
Yeah.
We were to guess as to a place not to stand.
Okay. Look at the TV. It's showing images of the tools exhibit upstairs. One of the few parts of the bureau open to the public. A fit man is gazing curiously at the Model T. Of course, that is where the anagram chamber is. Display reloading.
Oh, so does it let us swap things in and out of the display?
I'm guessing, yes. We press the button. A heavy clunk sounds. On the TV monitor, you see the display case black out. Then there is a groaning of moving metal and part of the ceiling lowers. This is apparently how displays are swapped out for the tools exhibit upstairs. The display platform is lowering to our level, providing access. This brings the Model T, the etymological reversing chamber, and the anagramming gun down into the room. Get gun. You get the anagramming gun. Anagramming guns are illegal now, of course, because of their desperately unpredictable behaviour. This one is a huge, heavy thing. They're not quite an artillery piece because of the colossal amounts of power required and all the stabilizers needed to try to collapse the letters back down to a single phrase. I'm just going to go and fire it at the odour. That's good that it's a gun, not a chamber. I was wondering how we were going to get a smell into a chamber.
You need to take the goggles off.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah. You don't want the U in it, do you?
I think the goggles are off. We've got the monocle on instead.
Correct. Good point, though. Okay. So yes, we have odor, E-D-O-R. Oh. Fire gun at odor. The anagramming gun is not loaded. Load gun. What do you want to load the anagramming gun with? Load gun with odor. You can't actually touch the odor, seeing as it is in fact just vapor. Okay. I think we need to Britishize it. Oh.
Okay, so do we need to turn it into something physical that we can put into the gun and then turn it back?
Yeah. What's a DUR?
I was going to say, that's the only thing I can think of. Britishize it and then get rid of the O's. Turn it into a duh.
Can we create some kind of container to capture the odor in?
Well, let's try converting it into something. So I'm wearing the Britishizing goggles. Now I'm going to remove the O from odor. Device buzzes puzzle is unable to create anything recognizable called DUR, or perhaps just doesn't have sufficient power to handle the odor. Okay, so that's not it.
What were the other tools that came into the room next door?
We also still have access to the T insertion.
We do. An accent flipper, an umlaut punch, a Catalan punt volat needle, some broken components, and some lamb granulates. Oh, I've looked at the granulates. They are tiny brown beads used to make lamb stock gravy. Perhaps they're left over military rations of some kind. Look at the broken components. A heap of parts from old machines, cranks, gears, buttons with letters and numbers on them, delicate hoops of silver wire, knobs from which all the markers have worn away.
Are you wearing the monocle at the moment?
No, I can wear it though.
Just to make sure that neither the granulates or the stuff are...
Ooh. No. Ah. Look at the granulates. There's a dismissive blat from the monocle, and transposed over the lamb granulates is a faint greenish image of some anagram bullets.
Okay.
Lamb granulates is an anagram of anagram bullets. It's too clever.
Do then.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Boil the kettle.
Yeah. Make some gravy.
Do what we always do.
With an audible splort, the lamb granulates become some anagram bullets. Heavy, high-impact stuff. Anagramming requires a great deal of force to break the linguistic cohesion of the word or phrase being modified. On the other hand, it's the one process that is routinely effective, even on adjective-adhering nouns. Get bullets and load them into gun. Oh, you take the anagram bullets. Load gun. Oh, load gun with the anagram bullets. I would not know how to do this, but you have sufficient expert skill that we've got the gun loaded up in no time. Okay.
Is the fact that it just told us that this gun can be used on items that have the modifiers, is that something useful? Back south?
Yeah. don't know. It's worth bearing in mind, though, isn't it?
So Rosie was just saying she wondered why it was a cute door, and I wonder whether now that might be why some of the words are a bit weird. Maybe they're anagrams or something.
Yeah.
Well, I thought they were just tightly bound so that you couldn't turn them into anything. You couldn't turn a door into, an object to get through it because it's like paisley walls and stuff. But maybe. I don't know why it's cute.
It just seems like a
It
very
is weird.
strange word, doesn't it?
It does. I'm going to fire the gun at the odor anyway.
The only thing I can think about cute is cut.
Yeah. Doesn't really lend itself to much anagramming either. Fire gun at odor. The gun fires ruggedly into the odor, which shatters and then reforms as a door. It's part of the north wall and currently closed. Your score's gone up by 1 point and is now 83. You open the door, revealing a room beyond. Oracle Project. This is nothing less than the command center for a massive propaganda campaign. Paintings of Atlantida and polling charts cover the walls, dating back to the Second World War and continuing straight through to the present. On the long table are a paperweight and an inciting fable. You can go south to Wonderland and east from here.
I have just had a horrible thought.
Okay.
As complicated as everything is that we've done so far, we now need to look at every single piece of text that we get given and see whether you not only can combine words, but combine words in such a way that you can then anagram them into something else entirely. So it's like inciting fable.
Yep.
That looks like an anagram to me.
Yeah.
But I'm rubbish at anagrams.
Well, I'm going to look at them because hopefully our monocle will just tell us the answer.
Yes, good point.
Look at the paperweight. There we go. Okay. Blue and white strands are swirled through the heavy lens-like hunk of clear glass. There's a dismissive blat from the monocle and transposed over the paperweight as a faint greenish image of a paper and a weight. Look at the fable. Oh, it's a short children's tale with illustrations. A young boy was left an orphan in a certain village. So he went door to door around the village, but none of the families would take him in, all having some excuse. There were too many children already. The house was too small. There was not enough food. The parents were too old for a new child, and so on. Despondent, the boy was on the verge of giving up when a magician came to town. He went around door to door with the boy a second time, this time asking each household for just one letter. When he was done, he used a powerful machine on the letters in his bag and transformed them into a loving family. The text ends here, but the illustration shows the boy beaming in the arms of a manufactured mother, father, siblings, hamster, and a goldfish. There's a dismissive blat from the monocle, and transposed over the inciting fable is a faint greenish image of a filing cabinet. Should we just have a little look east before we restore the filing cabinet? Surveillance room. A surveillance computer is mounted on the wall, an impressive flat screen readout displaying current activity. Another room lies to the east. The door you came through is west, and there is a spiral staircase down. Oh my goodness. Okay.
I've got a question. Wasn't there a screen that we could go to that not only gave us like our goals, but also told us which letters we'd used?
Yeah, that's just our inventory.
That's okay. I just haven't seen that in ages and wondered whether we were getting anywhere close to using all the letters.
Well, I did. One of the things that struck me is that at the moment we've only got one achievement, which is finishing the tutorial. I suspect there are other achievements, as well as completing the game and getting 100 points. There are achievements. I'm assuming that, like, using the T insertion machine or removal machine on every single letter of the alphabet would give us an achievement. But
yeah,
I mean, I think that's what the kudu is for, but we've basically ruined that because we've used the jigsaw instead and can't remove the Z anymore. But also, like, where's the Q? I haven't seen a Q to remove anywhere. But
I agree. Let's leave that. Yeah.
Don't worry, I will go back and I will play the whole game through again.
Many times.
Just to try and get all the achievements. Okay, well, let's look at the screen in the surveillance room. The following options are visible on the screen: security cameras, power grid, requisitions, and access records. The monocle pings happily as you sight PCOS with the crosshairs. Okay. So let's have a peek east. East is a workshop, a room whose importance is obvious from how clean it is, how little furniture it is allowed to have. A programmable dais sits in the middle of the room. It has the raw look of a lab equipment rather than a nice smooth commercial instrument. A specialized wall socket is built into the east wall, clearly not part of the ordinary power system for the bureau. You can go east and west to the surveillance room from here. So there's another exit to the east. Programmable dais. Look at it. It's a round black metal platform with substantial stabilizing coils visible underneath, 5 or 6 feet in diameter. This is experimental lab-grade letter equipment, ferociously powerful, insanely dangerous. The dais has a big lever, a massive switch, and a dais socket with no cord currently plugged in. Okay. And let's look east from here. Generator room. The walls are lined with concrete. Yellow paint lettering says caution, high energy equipment, and do not operate without training. A first aid station is built into the wall. It is closed. Most of the room is taken up with a gigantic boiler installation that is currently off. The locking mechanism is a brushed steel bucket currently empty. Look at the bucket. Attached to the machine is a brushed steel bucket with insulated walls. It looks like a large version of an ice bucket for chilling sparkling wines. Around the outside of the bucket are all sorts of odd gears, sprockets, parts and bits, which have been attached in a haphazard way with bolts, wire and duct tape. Presumably this does something to items placed in the bucket. At the lip of the bucket is a switch labelled reverse. The switch is currently off. The monocle pings happily as you sight the brushed steel bucket with the crosshairs. Look at the generator. This frighteningly massive contraption has pipes and compression tanks and steam gauges and dents and rust stains. All the gauge needles point to 0. A thick glass pane allows a view of one of the first chambers. The boiler is currently switched off. Monocle pings happily.
I think we need to go and look in the filing cabinet and see if we can find a manual.
If we look at the glass, so look at the thick glass pane, water lies stagnant inside a large pipe and a metal rod points down towards the water. Okay, well, there's still downstairs to go as well. So it's down from here. Spiral staircase down. Tunnel through chalk. This passage has been cut through natural cliff rock and looks older than the bureau itself. The walls are rough-hewn, exposing sedimentary strata. Here and there it looks as though someone has actually excavated a favoured rock or relic. Blocking the far end of the corridor is a metal portcullis. It is currently lowered. From the pulley above the portcullis hangs a counter. You can go east through the portcullis, closed, and up to the surveillance room from here. Let's look at the counter. One of those devices with a press button to increment a number to assist with counting things like the number of people attending an event. There's also a loop to let the user wear it over one finger. The counter currently reads 17. Monocle pings happily. That roster or whatever it was said that 17 people had been resurrected or disposed of, didn't it?
Yeah, that was the what was it? The list in the room.
Yeah.
What was in the room? Yeah.
So maybe this is the counter that they were using to count all of the people. Because it sounded as if when you look at them, when you look at the objects, the people with, of course, they're people that have been turned into objects. If you look at them with monocles, with a monocle, and they no longer resolve to a person, they've lost their connection to their original form, and then they just get disposed of. And maybe they get disposed of through this portcullis, and then they count them. Look at the pulley. Rope runs from the top of the portcullis over pulleys and down to a hook. It looks like a contrivance to help open the portcullis. On the pulley is a counter. Get the counter and pull the rope. Even pulling from above, you can't budge the portcullis. Some additional weight is required. We could get Brock to help us, maybe.
Paperweight.
I was going to say, we have a weight.
Oh, we have a weight. You're right. Of course, you're right. West, the Oracle Project.
I still think that we should go and look in the filing cabinet.
Yeah, okay. Let's do that. So we get weight and a paper. Let's just look at the paper. Look at the paper. It contains a memo dated to May of 1983. Attention, it says, due to subversive counter-propaganda altering the abstract concept, Subject A must no longer be gelled after use, since reconstructing her may produce anomalous results. You'll from now on be housed in a continuous living state in the historic apartment. Okay. Just a memo. Not useful. Rub gel on... Oh, what was it? Fable. Audible splort. The inciting fable becomes a filing cabinet. There are numerous files, and they are organized chronologically, so that it's possible to look up a specific year. They appear to begin in 1942. Okay. Well, the only date we have is this one from the memo, which is 1983, right?
Anyone I can think of?
Look up 1983. Checking through the filing cabinet for 1983 reveals some images of Atlantida. This year's folder doesn't contain any official propaganda posters. Instead, it's bulging with copies of a protest leaflet that shows a bare-breasted Atlantida leading rebels against the Bureau of Orthography, carrying placards in favour of more referenda and true individual liberty.
I think that's what is housed in that apartment.
Atlantida. Don't really know anything about her, do we? Okay. Look up Atlantida in the guidebook. Atlantida is listed here as the guiding spirit of the island and its people. Representations of this abstraction can be found in posters and advertisements, in the form of a great statue in the roundabout off Deep Street. Okay, let's go down, and the pulley and a hook, but the hook is empty. Something like the cry of a seagull comes down the passage. The weight. I think Rosie needs to leave. It's 8 o'clock.
Rosie's gone.
Has she gone? Okay. Sorry, I can't see the whole the whole group call. Look at the weight. Shaped like a headless pyramid, 0.5 kilos, 0.5 kg is stamped on the top together with the seal of the Bureau. It's an official weight intended to reassure citizens that they were getting a genuine standard measure. Put weight on hook. The weight isn't substantial enough and also provides no loop or ring that would let it hang from the hook.
So it doesn't seem like enough, does it?
No. Okay. All right. So, and if you go east, we strain at the base of the gate, but the portcullis is much too heavy for you to lift unaided. You need some kind of mechanical advantage. Well, it's 8 o'clock. I think we'll leave it there. We made a bit of progress. But we've now opened up this whole area and this whole new puzzle around figuring out what this Oracle project is, trying to presumably get out through the portcullis. I'm guessing that that's where we need to go to escape.
Notice something else.
Mm-hmm.
The counter on 17.
Yeah?
That's how many points we need.
Yeah.
How many points we need? Yep. Maybe related. Who knows? All right. Well, we haven't finished the game yet, folks. So we're going to have to go to another session next week. I hope to see you all then. In the meantime, cheers, everybody.
Bye.
Take it easy.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.